Well, it's February, folks, the month of love. And with Valentine's Day just right around the corner, I thought it would be a good time as any to make this video. Now, just like the last Valentine special, we'll be infusing Ben 10 aliens with the heart element. But before we start though, I just want to ask you guys to click like and subscribe so that way you can stay up to date for more videos. And with all that said, let's get to it.
Emoticlone.
Starting off, we have the embodiment of dissociative personality disorder, Emoticlone. Alright, so Ditto, in my personal opinion, is one of the most underrated aliens in the Ben 10 franchise. So I figured why not give this little guy some love, along with a cuter exterior and a Power Ranger-esque suit. Now for the body shape, I pretty much went with the chibi style for this one. Now for those who might not be familiar, chibi is a type of Japanese art style which features highly exaggerated character designs with large heads, short bodies, and stubby limbs, which is definitely fitting for a variant of Ditto. Even Emoticlone's size reflects his chibi origins, as he is roughly half of Ditto's height. Another differentiation I made from his original counterpart is the clones he produces. You see, with Ditto, the clones he makes are exactly identical copies, to the point where you can't even tell who's who. With Emoticlone, that provocation is fixed, as these clones are actually separate manifestations of his various emotions, with each clone having its own color palette and personality based on what emotion they represent. These include red for anger, yellow for happiness, blue for sadness, and so on and so on. These clones also have their own set of unique elemental abilities based on the emotions they represent, but we'll save that for later. And just to get this out of the way, the other sources of inspiration to use are Power Rangers and the anime 7 of 7. And maybe Raven's emoticlones from Teen Titans. All in all, this little guy might not seem like much, but you won't be saying that once you see what this guy is capable of. Alright, now we move on to the powers and weaknesses section. With powers, as far as retained ones are concerned, he inherits most of Ditto's abilities, minus the regular self-duplication and the ability to dig. Now, as far as new powers go, the main one is his empathic duplication, meaning that he replicates himself by manifesting his emotions as separate individuals. And as I said earlier, each of these clones have their own unique set of elemental abilities based on what emotion they represent. These include fire for anger, electricity for happiness, water for sadness, etc., etc. Each of these clones can use their elements to perform various attacks, create constructs, or even gain the certain traits based on the element they use. Also, Emoticlone and his emotional duplicates share a telepathic link, which harkens back to the original series where Ditto and his clones shared a somewhat sensory connection, meaning whatever one clone felt, the others felt the same thing. And of course, Emoticlone and his emotional duplicates are practically immune to enemies who can control the emotions of others. Now for weaknesses, as far as retained ones are concerned, whoever transforms into Emoticlone cannot revert back to normal unless he and the clones are back together, and he has very poor cold resistance. Now the only new weakness he gets is that his emotional duplicates cannot duplicate themselves. Now as cool as this little guy is, this is only our first entry. Wait until you see the others on the list.
Marma Spider.
Next up, we have the adorable arachnid simian hybrid, Marma Spider. Alright, so for the design of this little guy, I went for two of the cutest animals our planet has to offer. Those being the pygmy marmoset, also known as finger monkeys, as well as the world's smallest species of monkey, and secondly being the jumping spider, or more specifically, the peacock spider. So with those two combined, I created something equally as minuscule and adorable. And when I say minuscule, I mean minuscule because he is roughly around the same height as gray matter, measuring roughly 4 to 6 inches in height, at least when standing upright. All in all, the design is pretty simple, but what is this guy capable of? Alright, so with powers, as far as retained ones are concerned, he pretty much inherits all of Spider Monkey's natural abilities. Now with new abilities, he possesses a level of cuteness that is far beyond others, which can allow him to induce emotional attachments into others, allow him an overwhelmingly hypnotic presence that bends the minds of others around him, grant him incredible persuasive capabilities, and grant him an infinite amount of charisma as well. And all of that just stems from his adorable looks. Another new ability he gets is Enhanced Intelligence. While not exactly as intelligent as Gray Matter or Brainstorm, he's still a very skilled problem solver. He also has an incredibly enhanced sense of vision, which comes with night vision, ultraviolet perception, telescopic vision, and 360-degree vision with all the eyes that he has. He can also move through small and tight spaces, which comes in very handy due to his tiny size, and he has incredibly sharp reflexes as well. Now with weaknesses, retained ones evolving that his webs can be exploitable and he can be trapped in his own webbing. With new weaknesses, his small size can become a disadvantage in certain situations, and his webs can either become brittle in extreme cold or melt in extremely hot climates. But as cute as this little bugger is, I don't think he's anywhere near as sweet as our next entry.
Sugarcoat.
Next up, we have the Glucose Gorger Sugarcoat. So one thing that Valentine's Day is known for is giving sweets to your significant other, whether they be a box of chocolates, those sweetheart candies, or even chocolate-covered cherries. And with Upchuck being an alien whose main ability is eating things before spitting them back out as a volatile explosive, I thought, what the hell, why not give him a bit of a molasses coating?
Damn, boy, he's thick!
As if the look of this sugary chungus wasn't obvious enough, I went with various confectionaries and sweets as inspiration for the design. The ears, I guess you can call them, are clearly chocolate chip cookies, with one of them clearly having a bite taken out of it. The head is designed after flan. The entire upper body is designed after pink layered cake. The arms are clearly eclairs. The legs are designed after strawberry ice cream. The tail is designed after a dollop of whipped cream, and the fingers and toes are clearly designed after those chocolate-dipped strawberries. I know how goofy this all is, but I really don't give a damn. Plus, it's not like we've seen plenty of goofy Ben 10 aliens before, lest we forget Molestache or, God forbid, even Waka Trout. Now, for the body shape, I did use a combination of Bubble Bass from SpongeBob, as well as that Gummy Bear song. Does anyone even remember that? This dude might not seem like much, but trust me, he is just as bittersweet as his power setting. Now, he retains most of Upchuck's natural abilities, minus the whole explosive vomit thing. As for new powers, his main ability is creating and controlling candies of various kinds, especially a special kind of candy he makes called empathic candy, which are in fact manifestations of his various emotions, and can even induce said emotions into anyone that eats them. Another new ability he has is the ability to turn anything he touches into candy or other types of confections. He can detect the sense of taste of everyone within his vicinity. He can generate and control a honey-like substance which he can use in a variety of ways, such as spitting it out in thick pressurized streams, creating honey balls that he can throw at enemies, creating honey whips that he can lash at just about anyone or anything, and this honey-like substance he creates is strong enough to keep something like even a Vaxasaurian in place. And of course, he also has a very high metabolism. Now for retained weaknesses, just like his original counterpart, if he ingests enough matter or a powerful enough energy, this can make it difficult for him to hold it back down and not spit it back out. As for new weaknesses, due to his rather chunky body, his stamina is severely limited. The candies that he uses, whether they be his own or pre-existing candies, are pretty fragile, and his honey-like substance can attract the unwanted attention of honey-eating animals like bears or bees. Goofy stuff aside, this little guy will definitely leave a bad taste in bad guys' mouths. Anyways, on with our next entry. Next up, we have the enamorous vamp, Dracunova. For those of you who love vampire romance, do I have a treat for you. For this one, I took inspiration from both Edward Cullen from Twilight and Asmodeus from Hell of a Boss. But the main inspiration for this is, of course, the Greek god of love himself, Eros. So, according to Greek myth, Eros, or known to the Romans as either Cupid or Amor, is the son of Aphrodite, the goddess of love, and Ares, the god of war. And he was the god of desire, love, and procreation. And given how vampires have been romanticized throughout the years, especially in modern media, I figured why not give Vampire a bit of a sultry edge in its transformation into Dracunova. But you know what? I think that's enough about the design. Let's get to what this guy is capable of. So, he retains most of Vampire's natural abilities. You know, sharp fangs, night vision, hypnosis, etc, etc. The only ones he doesn't have are the Corruptoras, sonic explosions, and bat transformation. As far as new powers are concerned, his main one is this supernatural beauty, which can leave onlookers mesmerized, or even seduce them. Instead of the Corruptoras that Vampire uses to control people, he instead fires arrows made of pink energy from his hands. These basically function like Cupid's arrows, as they induce strong feelings of love within the target to the point where they fall head over heels for anyone or anything within their vicinity. And instead of feeding off of life energy like other Vladats like Vampire or Lord Transil, he instead feeds off of the emotional energy of others. Now for weaknesses, the only retained one is that his hypnosis isn't 100% effective, whether it's him using his hypnotic stare or his good looks. Now for new weaknesses, he must resist the urge to draining the emotional energy of others, much like how Ben does when he transforms into Vampire. And of course the effects of his love arrows do wear off once the transformation times out. But at least he won't sizzle up when exposed to sunlight like a regular Vladat, and instead sparkles like Edward from that one scene in the first Twilight movie. Though as good looking as this guy is, I wonder how he'll fare against our final entry.
Aromatize.
Last up for today, we have the slick, sweet-smelling sprayer, Aromatize. Now, I'll admit I did struggle with this one. I originally wanted to base this one off of perfume and cologne bottles, but I just could not come up with something that worked. So instead, I decided to base this guy off of a greaser. If you watch Grease or Crybaby, then you know what I'm talking about. And just as an excuse to bring out my inner 90s kid, I also implemented a hint of Johnny Bravo into the design as well.
Man, I'm pretty.
Now for powers, he retains most of Gutrot's natural abilities minus the space survivability, gas neutralization, and gas absorption. As far as new powers go, his main one being his ability to generate scents and perfumes, which he can use in a variety of ways. The scents he creates are actually pheromones that have a variety of effects. These can range from puppet pheromones, which control the bodies of others and contain enzymes that produce high suggestibility. Seductive pheromones, which are sexually charged, can induce pleasure and strong emotional attachments in others. and even have a hypnotic effect. And even dulling pheromones, which can weaken the senses of others, have hallucinogenic properties, and can even deprive people's senses. And he can even use these fragrances to heal others both emotionally and mentally. Now for weaknesses, the only retained one is that he creates these scents in large clouds which are susceptible to strong winds, meaning any allies that he has or any bystanders that are nearby are also susceptible to these fragrances. And his only new weakness is that the scents he creates are not 100% effective, especially when dealing with robotic enemies or those that have no sense of smell. So anyways, that's all I got for you today, guys. If you like this video, feel free to hit like and subscribe, and as always,
Oh, so you like to command? You like being in charge, hmm? Oh, so you're a kinky little imp, are you? Do you like it when I talk to you dirty? I want you to me with your—
Oh my dear God, cut the camera, cut the camera!